What do you think, Chloe? Should we get back to the shop? Let's get back to the shop and make a video. Okay. Well, she's heading back to the shop, but she's slow. Look at this place here. Here's the duck pond down there. It's across the street from my house. And here's the old hospital. There's a lady over there walking her dog. She always walks in the morning. It's about just after 7:30. It's going to get over 100 degrees today. But isn't this a nice setting? It's just like a park. This old hospital, they had students in there. The college bought this. And the building is just fallen apart. And they haven't had anybody in it for a couple of years. And they are, I'm sure, going to tear this down and build something new. Just the way it is. Okay, so we're going to head around this place here and we'll get to the shop. Hey, this tool grinding, there's people that do it for a living, and then there's people like me that does it to make the machines work. And so my tool grinding is geared toward my machines, and I can explain that as I go along, because things are complicated, but they're not very complicated. Now, for example, in the last video, I was doing the ends of end mills, which is just very, very simple thing to do. I didn't get much into the gashing, and I want to get more into gashing these cutters. That's an interesting thing in itself, and we'll get into that. But here's an example here of a horizontal milling machine cutter. It's a 1/4 inch. It was originally 5 1/4 inches. I'm gonna yell at Chloe. It's still too early for her to be acting like that. And so it was 5.250, and now it measures 4.836. So what had to happen, and I'm looking at it doing the forensics, is they had to take a cutoff wheel and do the notches, notch it down. And I got 6 of these cutters, and they don't need that just yet. Then you would go in with this dish wheel, and look how this dish wheel fits in there. And what that dish wheel would do there is get the 3rd angle to the valley. There's 3 angles here. So it'll do that, and then plus grind the face of the tooth. I hope that makes sense. And all you gotta do is just keep grinding this back until it gets to the point that the gullets here are too shallow for chip removal. So you would take a cutoff wheel, and eventually I'll be doing that stuff. And I'm just gonna show stuff as I go along, because that's basically the way I have to do it, because I got to get things done. Sometimes I get sidetracked, and I was sidetracked off this fitting up that faceplate. There's something about that axle set. If I get something for it, I drop everything and fit it and make it work. And it's all fitted up and everything's working over there. So back on the cutter grinder. So again, you can take a cutoff wheel, go in and cut that first notch, then do this one here, grind the face, and then you can actually come back with this dish wheel and do these, the secondary and the primary angle. Okay? Now, I'm going to move the camera, get it on the stand here. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, let's start with the basic cutter. What would you call it? A physical examination. So I got a dial indicator on here, and I've got a one of those button contacts. I'll show you that in a bit. So you can run it back and forth, but it's best to run it one direction. So I have it right here, and I believe this is in the low spot here. It's about 3 thousandths, and we'll just keep what do we got there? Oh, 4 thousandths. Now, I checked out a cutter, and I basically knew that. Where is it? This one here is a brand new 1/8 inch, I believe. And I used it. It's not quite brand new. But this one here, excuse me, more pollen. And I think there's even wildfire smoke in the air now. So this one here has a run out of about 1/1.5 thousandths. And when you start getting over that, over 2 thousandths, I don't like it that it's 1/1.5 thousandths, but it works okay. But you can hear it kind of oscillate because that 1/1.5 thousandths causes more of a chip load on a few teeth. It like increases, then it gets heavy, then it backs off from a high spot, and it just oscillates, and you don't get quite a good a finish. So you want to get the cutters round. Now, I've demonstrated how I true up 5C collets. And I have 6 of these things here, and they're different diameters. And they've all been resharpened, and I think this one's one of the better of them. So if I rotate that on over, you can see it'll, let's get it back this way. Find the high spots. See, it's getting close there. Has a minimum of 3 thousandths anyway. I think we'll find it going to 0. There's 40 teeth. Well, anyway, I think you get the idea. We got some run out exceeding 1.5 thousandths from this standard, let's call it, okay? And it's a good quality cutter. I'll get it over here so I don't drop it. Now, so I got this on a 1-inch arbor that's running true in a 5C collet. We got the arbor fits the cutter tight, and so now we're going to have to set up and grind it. Now, there's several ways to approach this, and the proper way, like it's shown in the Cincinnati manual, would be to use a round grinding wheel instead of a cup wheel, and do the indicator drop method, where you have to drop the work below the wheel, and once you do that, where's that wheel? So if you're using this kind of a wheel, you have to drop the cutter below center line of the wheel so you get that part of the curve, and it'll give you that clearance. See? Whoop. But there's another way to do it, and it's like, I went to the local community college here, And the instructor really knew the cutter grinder good. He was a Navy machinist, World War II, I think. And yeah, he's World War II one. I worked with the Korean War one too. But anyway, you can learn something, and then you can go to work at somebody else's place, and they go, well, wait a minute, yeah, that's a good way to do it, but we can do it this way and get it done a little bit faster. So I'm not set up to show the indicator drop method just yet, but I can do that. I'll do that in the future. But what I'm doing here is I'm setting up these work heads for doing the horizontal mill cutters, and including the air spindle, see? And there's different ways to index these, but we'll get into that in a minute. So first, let's set this thing up and talk about doing a fast, simple grind, just to get it sharp and true, okay? I'll be back. Okay, the wrench for today is Velchek. Okay, so this is a quick way to do this that was shown to be by a shop owner long time ago after I got out of school. And he goes, let's just do it this way and get it done real quick. And I go, yeah, that's a good idea. So again, back with an antique vernier height gauge. And there should be a square. Here's one here. If you're trying to use a square and you're rotating the tooth up to get that, we're going to grind the secondary angle, which is the same as on the end of the end mill, 15 degrees. And you don't have to use much to set it up. Oh, but anyway, this old these vernier height gauges are super accurate. So this tip is square with earth. See? So instead of, you can't get a square in there and try and stick something in with your fingers, you can use one of these and you can move it right in there and adjust it. And I've got this magnifying lamp, and I can just lay that right on that secondary angle. And so happens, this table fixture here has a 40-hole index, and that's another thing. If you're gonna use an indexer like this, and that went right in there and it's locked, you want to make sure that all of the teeth are even, because sometimes on cutters they can purposely stagger the tooth distance to help reduce harmonic vibration, and you might have a group of teeth spaced or something. I've run into that stuff, a lot of surplus stuff from the aerospace. So I inspected this. This is a Niagara brand cutter. It's top quality, and all of these teeth are in the right spot. Okay, it's not a cheap cutter or purposely staggered. So I can use the index. Now, if I couldn't use the index, is one of those, I have it set up over here. Let's take a quick look over here. I hope you're all having a good day. It's going to get really hot today. Up to Wednesday, I guess, 107 degrees. We're kind of in a little spot here where we have mild weather, but yet we get some very hot weather. So I got a finger set up here. This is a spring-loaded flicker finger, see? And there's two ways to set that up. You can set that up under the tooth that you're grinding, or you can set it up since the cutter's accurately made. You can index it off any tooth as long as you had this in the right position. Now, again, there's another way to do this. There's maybe 10 ways to do this. You can hold these things on arbor between centers. The best way is to have them on the milling arbor itself. Now, this 50 taper milling arbor fits into the standard workhead, which is in a box down there. It's very, very heavy. And I'll be using that because this is the ideal way to do it. And this was a lucky find for me. It's a new old stock Brown and Sharpe. Well, at any rate, let's get back over here and finish this little part. So, I found the spot. Yeah, it won't fall off. Let's get that back over there. Okay, so, and this is the high spot too. I want to start grinding on the high one first, right? So you don't all of a sudden have a surprise. So I'm going to grind that secondary angle. And remember, this has a third angle and a notch for a gullet that the end mill doesn't have. Okay. So I got that set up. I'm going to go around and grind all those secondary angles, and then using 15 degrees. So I'm going to be, this is the side I'm going to grind on. I'm going to swing it around. And then when I'm done grinding that secondary angle, I'm going to grind the primary angle by watching the scale here and dropping it about 9 or 10 degrees to get to that 5 degrees primary clearance. Okay, we'll be back. go back on the same one. Hey, Chloe, knock it off. And that does it. Oh, some of those are pretty low. I might have to go a bit deeper. Let's look at it from the front here. Yeah, this one didn't get ground, and that one, these didn't get hit either. They got rust on them. Isn't that something? Look at that. That's a terrible grind on that. Somebody did. Okay, maybe these came out of the school and they were practice or something. But I'll go ahead and go deeper and clean them up. Hey, I will load this video and be back with the finish grind, the primary cutting edge. Okay. I don't know if you can see the smoke out in the street from that. I'm glad it went off before this traffic. It just came out of nowhere. Okay. Wow, what a deal.